When you find out that your child has a hearing impairment, it can be a very confusing and worrying time. Many parents are concerned about whether their children will learn to speak and communicate. They want to give their children every chance to develop communication skills, but are unsure where to start. We'll be addressing this issue by suggesting strategies and ideas that can be used to encourage language development in young children. One mother who's been through this process is Judy, Abby's mum.
The day she was born, they did, clapping and that sort of thing, just trying to see whether she blinked, that sort of thing, which she didn't. But of course that's not conclusive, so there were still no reasons to be concerned. She was a contented baby. And I think she was 6 weeks old, we went to the Child Development Centre at Riola Street and had brainstem done there. At that stage as well, they said that they thought the equipment was malfunctioned because they couldn't get any responses at all, asked us to come back in 2 weeks. At that stage we still went home with the hope of, that she was a normal hearing baby. Went back in 2 weeks' time and we were told then that she was profoundly deaf. She had no usable hearing at all. When I look back now, it couldn't have been worse for me if I'd have been told she didn't have arms and legs. I was absolutely devastated. I didn't know what I could have done in this world to have my two beautiful babies be born deaf, basically. I didn't know what I'd done. I didn't know, what I could have done to have deserved this, and I didn't know what to do to make it right. I contacted a lady called Mavis which is now known as Wade, basically just going through the phone book trying to find out what we do, who we speak to, and asked her these questions. Is it possible that, firstly Kia, who was severely deaf, would she be able to speak? And then Abby, who we were told had no usable hearing whatsoever. And she said to me we had absolutely nothing to lose with Abby by giving it a shot. And, that's when we started. She was 8-10 weeks old and we got her into a program, and that's where it all started, and we haven't looked back since. Dance?
This is Abby now. Listen to her speech and communication skills. She's a wonderful example of what can be achieved. Her mother worked closely with her from a young age to encourage her development of language skills.
Hello, I'm Abby Chodler. I'm 17 years of age. I'm in Year 12 at the moment. I go to St Bridget's College in Lesmurdy. And I've got 2 cochlear implants. I've had the first one since I was 3.5 and the second one since I was 15. I love swimming. I used to do a lot of it, not so much anymore. I love netball and just like socialising and all that type of stuff. Yeah, I've got 2 best friends, Beth and Carissa. We hang out quite a bit. We just go shopping to the beach in the summer and just, hanging out and being with each other and stuff. Often get phone calls from them all the time, and also my boyfriend, and I always get yelled at for holding the phone up because they want to use it. I graduate in 4 weeks from Year 12, so I'm hoping to go to TAFE and study cooking or something and hopefully get a job in a chef's place or something, because I really like cooking.
Communication skills begin developing even before a baby is born. Let's look at how to establish the foundation skills that babies need before they're able to say their first words. These skills are usually developed in a baby's first year, but for babies with a hearing impairment, it may take longer. Babies learn the beginnings of language by listening to their parents speaking, so it's extremely important that they are given every opportunity to listen. When your baby has a hearing impairment, the most important thing to do is to ensure that they wear their hearing device whenever they are awake.
Hello, can you hear me?
Here you will see Brodie's mother, Odette, putting on her baby's hearing aids. She also makes it easier for her baby to listen by getting in close to the hearing device's microphone and talking to the baby in a quiet environment. When your baby makes any attempts at sounds, you need to acknowledge this. You can imitate their sounds and have conversations with them. Sometimes you'll need to wait for your baby to respond to encourage them to take turns.
Put a clean one on. Put your clean one on.
You'll find that there are many occasions when you can use daily routines to develop your baby's communication and listening skills. Here, Vanessa is changing Hamish's nappy.
Talking to me.
Note how she gets in close to Hamish and maintains eye contact while she is talking to him.
Pull them up.
She uses her voice and facial expressions to maintain his interest.
Nice and dry.
Well before your baby actually says his first words, he'll make many sounds and vocalizations that lay the groundwork for future speech. Whenever your baby makes sounds, assume that he's trying to say something. Here Vanessa is playing with Hamish and encouraging all his vocalizations.
They started off by saying ooh and the gooing sound like goo, and imitating, poking the tongue out, that sort of thing, and ah. So yeah, so ah and ooh were the first sounds. Ah, ooh. He likes the ah with the aeroplane. He loves that. I do Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall and falling off. Whee! He likes that. At this stage, we make up more songs like wash, wash, wash your hair, wash, wash your hair. So we tend to make up rather than singing there. The main thing was giving him that eye contact and that face-to-face and giving him the sounds, and then he was trying to imitate them, and then when he said them we would say them after him. So if he went ooh, we'd say ooh, and then it would encourage him to say it back to us. So that really encouraged him, and he'd laugh at that, and that was great.
It's important to involve all family members in developing communication skills with your baby. Here, Jane is spending time with her grandson, Brody. Singing and sing-song voices appeal to babies and young children. Vocal games and singing are predictable. They are invaluable in encouraging listening skills and auditory memory. Here, Brody is obviously enjoying Jane's singing and responding.
Here it is.
Now his attention is drawn to knocking on the door to encourage him to find where sounds are coming from.
Oh, what's that? What's that? Oh, over there.
He liked to hear because we do all the time because the ear is very quickly. Then we have a basic pitching mode. But he's very good. He loves to wear earrings all day.
What do you want to do?
The eye contact's important. We always sort of try to make sure that we're looking at him when we're talking to him, or he's looking at you, because otherwise it's not really, it hasn't any purpose. I know the difficulties that Odette's going to go through, but I'm more than happy to be behind her and support her, and we just try to talk to him wherever we go. We make a sort of little special point of, you know, giving him a few moments whenever we see him, just to sort of encourage his language.
Reading is an important activity to do with your baby right from early on, as it encourages joint attention. This is where you and your baby are both looking at the same thing while you talk about it. Notice how Kelly's mother reads in a quiet environment, gets in close to the baby, and ensures that the baby is using the hearing device. Kelly's mother is using the Vietnamese sounds that Kelly can produce to sing to the doll. It's the communication with your baby that's all important, regardless of the language used.
Cũng mà sáng về cháu nắp cho nó vào cái là cháu đi gì đó. Cháu sáng ra nó sẵn đồ đạc xong xuôi rồi, xong cháu ngồi đó cháu nắp cho nó để nó sợ nó vứt đi mất thì cháu sợ nó rơi ra ngoài, cháu không có tìm được thì con để ngồi nó nhìn nó để đeo vào tai xong thì nó ngồi nó rơi đâu nó nhặt được.
Here are the main points covered in this section. Persevere and make sure your child uses their hearing device at every waking moment. Use daily routines and talk about what you are doing while you're doing it. Get in close and use eye contact. Acknowledge and respond to or imitate your baby's sounds, and always assume they have something to say. Wait for your baby to respond. Draw attention to sounds from the environment, and establish joint attention where you are both looking at the same thing. We've been looking at the importance of introducing communication skills that need to be established before your baby will say their first word. Let's now look at the exciting time when your toddler does start saying their first words, and some strategies to use at home to encourage them in this process. First words are usually produced within a child's first year of life, but when a child has a hearing impairment, this can cause delays in the process. The strategies demonstrated here will be useful whatever your child's age is when they start saying their first words.
We're going to get dressed today? Hey?
It's not really possible to teach toddlers language. Instead, the process is one where the toddler actually acquires language by being exposed to it during conversations with their parents and other adults.
Bob Builder doing painting, all right.
So again, the most important thing that parents can do is ensure that their toddler has access to these conversations by getting them to wear their hearing device whenever they're awake.
Hey, what about these pants? Who's this? Spider-Man! You going to wear that? Yes.
You should also try to use daily household routines to have conversations with your toddler.
Mum, help.
When your toddler initiates conversations with you, make sure you respond to them immediately and positively, as this will encourage them to make further attempts.
3. Good boy. And this one?
4.
Good boy. Pull it off.
Here, Kathy is using the morning routine of getting dressed to have a conversation with Caleb.
Okay, are you going to put this one on? We get dressed together and we do like the bathing and stuff, but I like to cook. And he loves to get up and hold the beaters and mix and that sort of thing. And same as if you're in the garden with the watering can watering the plants, he's got to be in the garden with his little watering can watering the plants. He likes to feed the animals. So we do lots of little things together.
It is important to include your toddler in the household routines, as these predictable experiences provide invaluable structure to their language development. Here, Teresa is putting the shopping away with her daughter, Trifina. This routine provides a variety of experiences and language development opportunities and gives Teresa many chances to expand and extend Trifina's language.
We put some noodles in the...
Oh,
No, yes. Is that big?
When Trifina says a word, you'll notice that Teresa repeats the word and then expands or extends it.
Fruit, yes. It's a little can of fruit. Do you have that for afters?
This is an important strategy to use, as it's laying the groundwork for toddlers to begin talking in sentences.
Tomato sauce. When do you have that? We have that on pies.
Pie.
And chips. Oh, good girl.
A toddler's play also has an important role in developing their language skills.
Yes, I would like a drink.
Here, Teresa is setting up a doll's tea party with Trifina. This gives her the opportunity to develop Trifina's listening skills by giving her simple instructions to follow, and also gives her the chance to extend her play by making suggestions that increase its complexity.
What about Dolly? We're going to give Dolly some? Oh, good girl for sharing yours. Share? You're sharing with Mummy now.
Throughout this exciting time when your toddler's first words emerge, what is most important is that you as parents persevere and be encouraging, responding positively to any attempts that your toddler makes at communication.
Thank you. Trifina talks a lot when she's very concentrated in something that she's doing. So if she's, she might be colouring in, and she'll be talking about what she's colouring in, Also, when she's helping, she might be talking about what she's doing and where the things are supposed to be going. So she'll repeat the words that she's been told.
Careful, don't spill it out.
Children do not acquire language in isolation.
Okay. Stop.
Where possible, it can be helpful to involve other adults and siblings in the language development process, as it will give your child a variety of language models. As with every child, the use of songs and stories lays important groundwork in their language development.
Dinosaur on this page, Hemi?
Here, Sydney is looking at a book with Hemi. Notice how Sydney's expressive voice keeps Hemi interested, and how he puts stress on the important words to help Hemi decode language. Sydney is establishing joint attention with Hemi, and he is also using wait time. This is where he waits for a response so that Hemi can gain a sense of his own role in the communication process, including the importance of turn-taking in conversations.
Yeah, pig. He's pink. Yes,
The activities enjoyed by Hemi and his father demonstrate face-to-face communication. If you want your child to practice listening without this cue, sit them on your knee, hold the book in front of them, and speak close to their ear.
How many feet does he have?
Some of what Hemi is saying sounds like sentences, but there are only a few clear words within the babble. As a parent during this stage of development, you need to assume that everything they say has meaning and encourage them by responding appropriately, as in a conversation.
Close his mouth. Hemi's turn first. You use your little tool. Daddy's turn. Oh, he got me again. Okay, let's read a book. Should we read a book?
He likes the ABCs, like he likes singing the ABCs.
Yeah.
He likes that Mr. Men book, which is why I think why we chose it, because he knows it really well, so because I read it quite a bit to him at bed at night. We try to just sit there and decipher what he wants, maybe try to point to things. So if he says a sound and he gets frustrated, you just got to keep going until you find out what he wants, and then you just decipher that sound. And we as the parents can only know that sound as, you know, being the truck or the ball or whatever.
I feel that I had a lot of mother's intuition. I usually knew what he wanted before he got to it. Like I could see him riding his bike, I'd see a chair over there in the way, and I knew by the time he got over there, he would be starting to try and say something because he wanted the chair moved. So I used to like stop and I used to say, move the chair, move the chair. So he knew what it was that I wanted him to say for me to be able to do it. So yeah, I think I had a lot of intuition. I knew what he wanted before it came.
Here are the main points covered in this section. Some have been mentioned before, but remain important. Make sure your child uses their hearing device at every waking moment to give them access to all conversations. Use daily routines and give your child experience of many different kinds of conversation.